When the lights go on again all over the world, and the boys come home again all over the world.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hi, I'm Mike.
And I am Fran.
And you're listening to Mike and Fran Unrehearsed, Season 2, Episode 3, at 7:30 in the morning on 216 The Net, Real Life Internet Radio, where you can now listen to us on TuneIn, Apple Music, and Anchor FM, featuring the oldest person in the world with a podcast, my mom, Fran. Hey, Fran, how's it going?
Well, pretty good. I got over having a type of a flu after we didn't have heat for a week.
Yeah.
But I don't think that caused it. I had to go on an antibiotic. And that's about it. Kind of slowed down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Waiting for my birthday in a few days when I will be 96.
That's right.
And,
on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, January 26th, my mom, Fran, will be turning 96 years old. Isn't that awesome?
Well,
hey!
It just happened. I had a lot of surgeries, a lot of things in my life, but I'm still here kicking.
So you know what? The next time we have a broadcast, you will be 96 years old and like a week or so. How about that?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
So this is the last broadcast that we're going to do at the age of 95.
Yep.
So how do you feel about that?
Well, it's interesting. You are the product of everything you've done throughout your whole life.
Yeah.
To be 96. You're the same person inside you've always been.
Absolutely.
Your brain is still there, or mine is, sharp, but
Thank
your
God.
body sort of gets older and kind of wears down quite a bit.
Yeah.
But
I think we're doing pretty good.
Right.
Pretty good.
Right.
When we go into doctors, and if it's a new doctor, they're talking to my mom, and then they say, how old are you again? Oh, 95. You're not 95. They can't believe it because they have other patients in there that could barely even walk in the door or walk around the corner or whatever.
Well, my walking isn't getting so good recently.
Yeah,
so.
but you can still get around with a little cane,
yes,
and you're doing
yes.
fine. You're doing fine.
Yes.
You're doing fine. It was funny the other day. I told somebody my mom was in her 90s, and then and then I said, "You were what, reading the paper or something?" He goes, "What? She could read or something?" It's like
I
what?
thought that was funny. I thought that was funny.
Yes, and she could walk and talk, and
Yes.
she eats and drinks and
Yes.
and goes to bed at night and comes down the stairs in the morning and everything. Wow, that's amazing. Anyway, so we're getting a little off track, but we want to get to something that we started last week, Mom, since you are officially or unofficially the oldest person in the world with a podcast. We have to do something every single show right off the top. And what is that? We have to talk about your Words of Wisdom Volume 2. So if you guys remember, Words of Wisdom Volume 1 last week was something her father said. And what did he say, Mom?
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
That's right. And that got you all the way to Chicago. And that's how you met my dad. And then we, settled in here, and that was it. And I don't know, I might not have been the person that I am if your father hadn't have said that and let you go to Chicago, which is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. So here it is, the second week that we're going to be doing these Words of Wisdom. And what are your Words of Wisdom now for Volume 2, Mom?
Oh, this is something my mother always impressed upon me. Nothing ventured, nothing gained from my father. But from my mother, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
And she sort of needed to say that because I was born running. I always talked fast, I walked fast,
really?
I did things rapidly.
Is that right?
Too rapidly. That I often got caught an arm in something or got tripped over something. And my mother was always saying, Francis, Rome wasn't built in a day.
So she said that from day one with you?
Yes. When
really?
I was a little kid.
Really?
And I remember a teacher in school in about the third grade when I was always getting my things out real fast to rush, saying, "Miss, Rome wasn't built in a day." So I remember that was...
So you said that to someone else?
No, the teacher said that to me.
The
when
teacher?
I was in grade school.
Oh.
Slow down. You're a bright little girl, but you work too fast.
So your mom said it to you, and one of your teachers said it to you.
Yes, it was sort of an adage you heard. Rome wasn't built in a day.
When you're rushing around and zooming around.
Right.
So what grade were you in when that happened?
I don't
remember?
know, second or third.
Okay.
I was in grade school.
What was the teacher's name?
I do not remember.
Okay, I'm kidding. When you were
Well,
running
when
around?
I was walking, the teachers always would joke how fast I walked or keeping up with me.
That's right.
I was a fast walker, and yeah.
So you were known as Fast Fran, but Rome wasn't built in a day means slow down and take
your
it at a
time.
time. So
Take your time.
So that was very helpful. So anybody out there that thinks that they need to kind of slow down a little bit and maybe smell the roses or something can think of that. That Rome wasn't built in a day. Now they don't say that too much anymore, I don't think.
No, it was sort of. No, I think it's an older term.
But they can still kind of use it as let's say they have a huge task to do, and they're just starting out, and they're feeling exhausted already, and they haven't even really started.
Yes.
Couldn't you say that? Rome wasn't built in a day, because we're going to get there with little baby steps, and we're going to eventually get there, right? Okay.
Well, that's one of the things that I remember.
Yeah.
There were many things that...
Well, we have to save those for the next week, Mom. Right?
Okay.
So we're going to give out one volume of Fran's Words of Wisdom every week. So this week, it's Words of Wisdom Volume 2 is Rome Wasn't Built in a Day.
Well, I can't talk about my nail polish?
Next time.
All right.
Thank you. I wanted to remind you guys to go to our website, MikeandFranRadio.com, where all of our shows are rebroadcast on our YouTube channel, which is Mike and Fran. So I want you guys to like us, put some comments in there, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got maybe 120 or so subscribers right now, which is pretty good. And we're starting to do some more stuff on TikTok too. So if you go to Mike and Fran Unrehearsed, you can check out our TikTok site. But the best thing to do is go to MikeandFranRadio.com, where everything is listed on there. Our TikTok site, our YouTube channel. If you want to sell your home in 7 days for cash, go to our EXP site. We're sponsored by EXP Realty, and we'd love to help you out selling your home for cash in 7 days or less. And if you need health insurance, and you're tired of paying $800 a month, there's a plan on there where you can pay half of that, whether you're sole proprietor, independent contractor, or a W-2 employee. So please check it out. If you guys like networking, go to Cup of Joe Networking Group, which meets every Monday morning at 8 o'clock. All right, enough of that. All right, so Mom, let's talk about some current events. I know recently it's kind of interesting that we lost 3 people in the entertainment business. Lisa Marie Presley died apparently of cardiac arrest at 54 years old. I mean, that's kind of young. And she was at the Golden Globes, I think it was. And she wasn't
about 2 days or so.
She wasn't doing that good there. She could barely even stand up. I mean, why didn't she just go to the hospital if she couldn't even stand up?
I do not know.
Because she wanted to be there for the film, right?
Yes.
The Elvis movie that she did with Austin Butler.
Yeah.
And he was fantastic, that guy.
Absolutely.
I saw him on Late Night with Jimmy Kimmel, and his voice sounds like a deep, rich voice, like he was a natural to play Elvis.
Well, he practiced for a long while before.
Oh, it was like 3 years or something that he was preparing. And what he was saying is that Tom Hanks got COVID, was one of the first famous people to get COVID, and they thought the whole thing was going to be over. And they said, we're going to go on break and we're going to stop, we're going to wait till he gets over it. And he said, no, because I've been preparing all this time. He had a room full of all of Elvis, different looks and different outfits, and he was practicing his laugh.
He did a magnificent job.
He said he would walk on the coast of Australia where they were shooting, and he would have an earplug in his ear and playing all of the recordings of Elvis laughing so that he could repeat them. So he was walking along the shore laughing like Elvis. And he said if somebody would have walked by and heard that, they would have thought I was nuts.
Or something,
completely nuts.
Yeah.
But that guy really prepared for that role, and I think it really paid off.
Yeah.
And she really wanted, maybe she wasn't in the greatest health to begin with, and there was nothing that she could do about it, but she really wanted to be there to support him. I don't know.
She certainly looked like her father.
Well, what they say is that she had her father's smoldering eyes and signature pout.
Yeah.
Is what they say, and she did. She did. They were saying in People magazine that when her father saw her come in the room, and when she was even a young girl, he said, "She has my eyes, my look. She looks just like me. I just love her to death." And he lit up every time that they were together. And she had kind of a hard life because he died when she was like 9 years old or something like that. I mean, it was crazy.
She had a troubled life, being born into a family with money.
Yeah.
Doesn't give you success or happiness.
Yeah.
She had 4 marriages, and of course the one married to Michael Jackson was so notorious.
Yeah.
Written about it, and Nicolas Cage.
That wasn't very long.
And
but,
she was married 4 times and had a son that passed away a few years ago that just devastated her.
Benjamin passed away in 2020, and she's no longer with us, but God rest her soul, and I know she's going to be buried next to Elvis and her son in Graceland.
Yeah.
And that's where they'll be forever.
That's right.
It's just sad, but she did have some music on Spotify that I was listening to that was real interesting, kind of sultry, and she did at least 1 or 2 songs with Elvis, which was kind of cool. Now, Mom, I know you remember Elvis and Lisa Marie Presley and people like that of that genre, but I don't know if you ever listened to Elvis. Did you that much, or no?
I was never a big Elvis fan.
No. Yeah, some people were, some people weren't.
He sang. I liked his Love Me Tenderly, his slow ballads, but his other kind of music I wasn't into as well.
So I also wanted to mention that Jeff Beck died at 78 on January 10th. And this guy was a virtuoso on guitar. Jeff Beck was a former Yardbirds member and is considered one of the most influential instrumentalists of all time. What they say is when it came to electric guitar, there was no one who had it mastered quite like Jeff Beck. Hailed by former Yardbirds bandmates Jimmy Page as a 6-stringed warrior. This guy, and he said he could cast spells with his fingers, and he actually had his fingers, he actually had each of his digits insured for $1 million a digit. Isn't that interesting?
He was admired, I think, by Paul McCartney.
So Paul McCartney said this in People magazine. His playing was something that no one could match. He has left the building, and it is a lonelier place. Rod Stewart said about Jeff Beck, Jeff Beck was on another planet. You were the greatest, my man. Thank you for everything. And Ronnie Wood of the Rolling Stones said, Jeff Beck was fantastic. Listen to the incredible track, Plinth in His Honor. I don't know if I've heard that one, but anyway. I remember an album that he came out with was called Who Else? And it was like, how can anybody come out with an album like that unless they could back it up? It was just called Who Else by Jeff Beck. I thought that was pretty cool. Another musician that died was David Crosby, a singer-songwriter who helped define the sound of the Woodstock generation and as a key member of the 1960s and 70s bands The Byrds and Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but whose drug abuse kind of made him a cautionary symbol, they say, of the era's culture of excess. He died at 81. Now, this guy actually got a liver transplant a number of years ago, and he probably lived a lot longer than he thought he would have lived, but he'll be remembered as a great musician, that's for sure. And they say here, as a member of the Byrds, a group once regarded as the mid-60s American counterpart to the Beatles, and later with Stephen Stills and Graham Nash and sometimes with Neil Young, Crosby sold millions of albums and performed songs that symbolized the era of peace, love, and political engagement. You know, songs like Mr. Tambourine Man, Turn, 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 8 Miles High with the Byrds, and with Stills, Nash and Young, Carry On, Marrakesh Express, Teach Your Children, and Our House. Wow, that's sad. And I try to play some of his music. In fact, I'll play some stuff with Grateful Dead with my friend Jana Henning, because she's in a Grateful Dead band, and that's a lot of fun. You can play that stuff forever and ever and ever, but you got to practice. So I gotta do some more of that. So someone else died recently, Mom. Miss Gina Lollobrigida. What can you tell me about her?
Well, we named a dog after her.
What was that?
We had a Pembroke Welsh Corgi, and the Corgi, the Pembroke, does not have a tail. It's docked off, and it had this cute little rump, and she was known for this walk of hers and being exotic and everything.
She was.
So we named our dog Gina Yvonne of Sandyshire, of the kennel she was from. So we named Gina after Gina Lollobrigida.
Oh my God.
She was a sultry, beautiful Italian actress who, after she got through doing her films, she became quite a professional photographer.
That's what I've heard.
Yes.
Yeah, they say Gina Lollobrigida was a ruby-lipped bombshell encased in clinging gowns whose presence in comedies, romances, and adventures powered a rebellion against neorealism.
Yeah. Well, she sort of was competitive with Sophia Loren.
Yeah, they say Brigitte Bardot and Anita Ekberg.
Yeah, but also Sophia
I don't know why
Loren.
Sophia Loren wouldn't be in there, but she was 95 and obviously an international sensation. And this is something interesting what Humphrey Bogart said. In the estimation of actor Humphrey Bogart, her allure made Marilyn Monroe look like Shirley Temple. Life magazine called her La Lolo, and she was nicknamed the most fetching argument ever advanced for liberal immigration policies.
She was smart. She worked in a lot of causes.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
She was really an individual person that said what was on her mind and could back it up. So those were some people that we lost over the last couple of weeks. So, Mom, what else happened in the news that was really interesting?
Well, 2 words caught my eye, Machu Picchu. I remember way back when I was first teaching, there was a teacher who was in her 30, 35, young, single, who went to Machu Picchu on a vacation. And I used to always say, I always wanted to go to Peru, to those village, those mountain that was built way up in the Andes Mountains.
You follow the Inca trails up there?
Yes,
is that what it is?
Yes. And it was in the paper now because protests closed Machu Picchu, and tourists were stuck at the site.
Oh my God.
Like 417 tourists, of which 300 were foreigners. And they had trouble getting home. They're stuck there at Machu Picchu. It said they could have chosen by walking to Piscacucha, the nearest village.
To where?
They would walk 6 or 7 hours away.
Piscacucha.
And they said only a few people are able to do it.
To walk for 7 hours, 8 hours?
I think if you wanted to get out bad enough, you could walk for 6 hours or so.
Really?
I think you could.
I don't know if I
But
could.
it was talking how all these tourists were stuck at Machu Picchu, and that's a place I always had wanted to visit. And when that teacher came back, she had gone during the summer.
Yeah.
In the fall, come on, talk to me. Tell me about what it was like climbing the things up there.
Wow.
And it always intrigued me.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Wow. So there's something else that I wanted to talk about, which was in the news. It's an article that's titled "Twinkle, Twinkle, Fading Stars in Our Brighter Skies." Since the skies are getting brighter, we're able to see less of the stars up there. In fact, they said something like this. Okay, so it says here, sky glow disrupts human circadian rhythms as well as other forms of life. Now, what do they mean by circadian rhythm, Mom?
Well, It's not in my regular vocabulary.
Mine either.
I just looked it up. A circadian rhythm or circadian cycle is a natural internal process that regulates the sleep-wake cycle and repeats roughly every 24 hours. It can refer to any process that originates with an organism and responds to the environment. Those 24-hour rhythms are driven by a circadian clock, and they have been widely observed in animals, plants, fungi, and cyanobacteria.
Oh my God!
Wow, I wouldn't know still what exactly it meant.
Well, thank you for that clarification, Fran.
I'm glad to serve.
All right. Now, you guys, there's not going to be a test at the end of this, but this is turning out to be very educational. Now, I wanted to say one other thing before I'm done here, is that they say migratory songbirds normally use starlight to orient where they are in the sky at night. No, I never knew that. And they also said that when sea turtle babies hatch, they use light to orient towards the ocean. So sky glow is kind of important to a lot of other animals out there that we might not have known about. So that's very interesting. All right, so what else happened in the news, Mom?
Well, I think the last thing we'll mention that Buzz Aldrin, the very likable astronaut, tied the knot on his 93rd birthday for the 4th time with a longtime companion.
Oh, my God.
And he looked just great in the photo. With
He did,
his
didn't he?
white hair and white beard and standing up straight.
Wow.
And I thought that was great to hear.
Now, that's fantastic. And the woman looks really good, too, doesn't she? For
Oh, yes.
70-something. They don't say how old she is, but he's 93?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And she, his longtime love and partner, Dr. Anka V. Fowler, I think it is, have tied the knot.
Congratulations to him. That is just great.
Yep.
What an inspiration, Mom. So you know what? That means it's not too late for you.
Oh, yes, the 96.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We gotta get you out more and meeting some eligible bachelors.
To get rid of me?
That's right. No, of course not.
All right.
Of course not. All right, guys. So it's time for some crossword puzzle fun because Mom does these every day. She's really good at them. So here we go. Okay. Here's 12 across. Dark brew. 3 letters. I know.
Well, you know that.
Has to be ale.
Right.
Right? A-L-E. Okay, got that one. You got it. Okay, 14 across. Starts with an A. 4 letters. Length times width equals...
Oh, that's only one thing, area.
Area. There you go. You got it. There you go. Length times width equals area. Absolutely. Here's one. Silliness. 16 across. Begins with an A, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters. Silliness. Crazy, nutsy.
What are the letters in it so far?
Begins with an A and ends with an Y. And it has an R in the middle and a U. U-R-D in the middle.
Silliness?
Absurdity. Absurdity.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. All right. Now, 18 across, I have no idea what this means. It says dryad. D-R-Y-A-D.
It's a nymph.
Is it?
What does it have there? What does it begin with?
Nymph. It's a nymph.
M-Y-M-P-H.
How'd you know that?
Yeah, well, dryads were in literature. In England, you talked about the dryads and things.
Okay. I'm just not into that kind of thing. You got it. Okay, 21 across is filch. Filch.
Oh, well, filch is to take or steal.
Now, it's 3
How many
letters. 3 letters, ends in a B.
Rob.
Rob. No, I didn't know that. Filch means steal?
Yeah.
Rob?
To filch, to steal something.
Filch?
F-I-L-C-H.
I've never heard that word in my life. Okay, 23 across is skipper's okay. Begins with an A.
A-I-A-Y-E.
A-Y-E-S.
Eyes. How do you pronounce it?
You got it. That's a cute one. And then here's last one, 36 across, Sub-Zero.
How many letters?
3 letters.
Burr.
That's
B-R-R.
right. That's right. You could probably put 3 R's on that one, but we only need 2.
Use 2. Burr.
Sub-Zero.
B-R-R.
Burr.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for this week's crossword
All right.
puzzle. Hope you guys learned something. I did. So Mom's going to be turning 96 in 4 days. That's January 26th. Mom will be turning 96. And on Saturday, we're going to have a party at the house. Right, Mom? Everybody's going to come over?
We're going to, on the 28th.
It's on the 28th.
And you have kind of finagle things here.
Oh.
I've been hounding you since the 27th to take down our Christmas tree and decoration.
Yeah.
But he's always been busy, so today he came up, let's leave it up till the party. Because nobody came here for Christmas.
That's right.
We went to Ryan's house, my grandson.
Wow.
So, we aren't going to take him down till the 28th.
I just want him to see our skinny little Christmas tree here and our Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
And,
well, it's the first time we haven't had it at our house ever, really.
That's right. They've always seen them every year.
So I sort of agree with you in a way, but I think you did it because you got tired of me hounding you to get them down.
Partly
okay.
Partly that's probably true. But anyway. It'll be nice that they'll get to see him. And then I promise I'll finally take down the Christmas decorations. And it'll be maybe before February 1st. How about that? That be good?
I hope so.
All right. So I think I want to try to squeeze in one little Uber story. I've got a couple of things I want to say about Uber driving for this last week. It hasn't really been that good in the evening, so I'm going to try the mornings and see if that's any better. But I did run into a guy that told me he was a retired principal from a grade school, and now he makes films, and he's in his second or third film, and he's looking for a distributor. And I'm like, well, I'm an actor, and I know some people that might be able to help you out. Oh, and I do this podcast with my mom, and Mike and Fran Unrehearsed is what we call it. He goes, oh, yeah? Well, tell me about that. And where's your mom from? And when did she move here? And how long have you lived in Chicago? And what do you want to do with the rest of your life? Well, I want to make movies. I want a green light project in Chicago. And your mom's motivating you to do that. And why did she come to Chicago? Well, her dad said, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And he goes, I like it. This is a really good story. So, who knows? The guy's name is Rick, and I know he lives in Portage Park, and that's all I know about him. He has my card. So if he calls and we start talking about a film, you might not hear from Mike and Fran on radio until we shoot the film, of course. But anyway, I digress, right? So one other thing I wanted to mention is that Uber driving is getting a little nasty because when I go to charge, there's somebody on there and they could use another charger, but they're using the one that I need to use because it has the Chatamo connection on it. And you know what she told me? She goes, do you have an app? I go, yeah. She goes, there's another charger around 3 miles from here at another Target. And I go, I have 8 miles left. She goes, you'll make it. I go, are you kidding me? She's going to send me to a charger with 8 miles? And it's cold out. And you know what happens when it's cold out? That 8 miles is only like 4 or 5 miles, okay? Unless you drive and put in neutral and drive and put in neutral.
And you have the heater on.
That's right.
Because the heater takes energy too.
I'm not going to make it. So I had to wait an hour for her to take a nap in the car to charge her car because she wouldn't move to another one because she said, those are slow and this one's fast and I come here all the time. They're all the same. Yeah. Holy shit.
Well, that's a fun.
So I had to knock on her window, wake the little idiot up. She has this moaning look on her face. She's putting on her shoes and everything, and her car's at 90%. It's like, I just wanted to slap her upside the head, or at least unplug her while she's still in there putting on her shoes and her coat because she has to get out in the cold. Poor little baby. Oh my God, I hope I don't run into her again.
Okay.
Anyway. I let the people at Electrify America know about that too. And I happened to be talking to a girl from Chicago, and I told her, you know what? It's 20 degrees out here. We don't want to be bouncing in and out and driving all over creation to charge our car. It shouldn't be that hard. Yes, I know they have a problem when it's cold out. Do something about it. Holy shit. Don't get me started. Anyway, life of an Uber driver driving an EV is kind of interesting. Let's just leave it at that. All right? So I think that's about it for now. So let's say goodbye, Mom.
Goodbye.
See you guys next week.
So long.
Take care. And we'll see you soon. Bye now.